Hello everyone. The intent of this presentation is how we can track the progress of our project. So the current world is becoming highly multifaceted, and each project involves a lot of stakeholders, a lot of sponsors. So it's important that we track each and every part of the project, and whether it's slightly deviating as we have planned, or whether the cost is increasing or our team is underperforming. These things need to be properly tracked so that they can be put towards the sponsor, because they need the result, they need the value, how much progress we have made for the money they have invested. So that's why we are going to talk about the project tracking in this presentation. Carrying on to ahead. So this is the agenda that we will be following. We'll start with why tracking is important. Why to waste some amount of money on tracking? Is it even necessary? Because rather than wasting time on tracking, you can use the resources on something else and your project will be done too much fast. What's the utility of it? Follow it will be how it's being done, or is there any standard system for it? Because KPI mentioned here, and after that the different types of KPIs, whether there's some of the KPIs are related to time, some related to budget, some related to resource, and other related to the customer satisfaction. So that's we will discuss. And finally we'll proceed to digital. It's already an existing system here, how we can make it more robust so that we can incorporate the other layers of this, or how we can involve also incorporate the in evolutionary demands or the increasing demands of the industry. And finally, we'll see what are the best tools that is being currently used in the industry for this purpose. Okay, so yeah, why it is important? Let's talk about all the case studies that we have did in this project management 4 to 6 class. So we did the Boeing 767 class, a perfect example, a multi-million dollar investment with a project span of 10 years or more than that, with a lot of stakeholders, who are a lot of vendors, a lot of suppliers. So project of such a big scale, it is very important to get lost somewhere in between the progress. So it's important that you are tracking each and every stage. Let's say, for example, you are at the fifth year and you find that you have made a mistake here. So it will be very difficult to find what point you have made the mistakes. That's why it's important to uh, keep a proper account of all the changes, all the modification that you are doing it, and so that it's easy to Q and QC later on if you find a mistake or you find a need to change. Following on, we also did about the pharmaceutical sector, Vortex and the Smith client class. We are also doing in the horizontal drug-based horizontal drug related projects. So again, both of these involves drug discovery, which is again $1 million investment, long project, like Anderson and Klein one, which was little portfolio optimization. So they came up with an iterative kind of system to optimize the which projects to take and which projects to drop. So they come up with something, but whether that process is efficient or not, they need to keep a track on it. They need to implement a pilot of it and find out whether it's giving them the desired result or not, and how it's use the learning curve to improve on. After that, the classical bandit case, Motorola bandits, they use the not invented here strategy, and they move from product A to product Z, but not indirectly product A to B to C to D and to Z, rather than going at directly taking a big jump. So the stage processes has helped them, and tracking these stages will effectively help them to control all the resources also that they are utilizing. Finally, we had Campbell case, where there was a little bit disagreement between the stakeholders and the management and the workers. They were not effectively able to communicate the idea. So finding out where did they went wrong, where did this lack of communication came, it's important. Maybe they can track the customer or the stakeholder satisfaction at each and every point of the project, and they could have guessed that this is the point where there's a clear dichotomy between different stakeholders arising, and rather than escalating it to whether they could have addressed it in the initial stage. And the favorite one, RNR, classical trivia board game, which most of the project, most of the work was outsourced here. It was meant to just rapidly implement the idea, and make profit and go out of here. So projects such as a specific objective needs to be again properly tracked. That's why these were different examples in different industrial settings. This shows why it's important to track the progress or the utilization or the budget of a resource of a project. So currently we are using key perform KPIs to make you to track all these. So you have different kinds of objective. If you have your company might have an objective, and depending on that, and it had a goal, and it will take different kinds of projects. So for each project, a project manager divides the entire project into different milestone and tasks. For each task, we can associate a metric to find what's the success that will be. I think it will be easy if we associate a quantitative metric rather than a qualitative metric to each task to find whatever work we have done, whether it's in a sprint or whether it's in a waterfall, is effectively able to deliver. Second of all, it's a very high level estimate. It can be a high level estimate for a whole company and can be low level estimates. Like in my last organization, I saw that KPIs are filled by even by me and even by managers. So even for my assessment, it can be used, or even for my subordinate, it can be used for everyone's assessment. It will vary from subject person to person, but it can be implemented throughout the organization. And again, so these are very different from the OKRs, objective key results. So recently, I was reading a case study of the MX, and one of the guys that said to me that we have KPIs, but we didn't have the OKR. So we maybe if you can have OKR, there is no need of KPI. Then I just told him OKR a very high level thing and KPI is a very specific. Okay, OKR means it's objective and what's the key result of it. That's very super, very on a broader scale. But KPI you can implement in a very finer detail also. Like for each of these objective, what are the associated tasks and how you can track them with the help of any indicator. Let's say success rate, let's say what's the cost of it, or what's the earn value, what's the percentage completion, all that. So this slide shows all the types of KPI that we have some are related to the time, whether we are doing it within the time that's we have allocated or not, how much extra time we are taking, and whether it's more than the time we have planned or not. If it's taking less the time, what's the reason behind it? Then other type of KPIs are budget, resource, and client set. And mostly we can categorize all of them in these four broad categories. Let's see more in detail. So how to make it more robust? We had a wonderful KPI system, but these need to be aligned with the objectives and goals vision of a company as well as the projects. So let's say we have a system where we want to measure the customer level satisfaction. And we are going for a marketing, and we want to see how much the customer count is increasing. So it should your target metric should be how much customer is how much traffic you are having on the customer rather than interest of customer and the customer buy rate. So that these KPIs should also need to be very tracking can easily should be trackable and easily measurable rather than having a qualitative estimate which could be subjective for different person. These need to be quantitative and objective so that these can be easily compared from one task to another, or it can be easily be standardized for everyone in the management rather than having personal biases for each one. Like normally project managers are very biased for their project, but when it comes to so portfolio optimization, the manager needs to portfolio manager needs to oh, remove this biasness and see them on apple to apple kind of comparison. Yeah, so they need to be actionable and relevant to the topics that we are discussing rather than going completely off. So this slide shows some of the KPIs which are used to measure the timeliness. Yes, and we have someone see and you can see one of the time there. Uh, Time is going in. There is a difference between the plan and the actual time. So doing a qualitative and check and qualitative assessment could give us a more idea whether the team is underperforming or more performing. What's the reason behind it? It similarly, this slide shows the how much cost is different, how much variation is there in the cost, whether in the earned value or in the actual cost, which can help us to debate whether the team has been effectively used or not, whether the result potential has been reached or not, whether they have an underperforming team or a overperforming team, and how much cost you have allocated to them. And finally, the break even. So, how much return you are getting on the investment that you are making. These are the best tools that has been used across the industry for now, and Microsoft Project most of us have used on work on this on the scheduling exercise, couple of things which I have worked on in Jira, but apart from that I heard that I have Stamp is also important. So maybe if you want you can use the remaining three in your industry or whenever you have these work. So yeah, that's all things I had, and I would like to. If you have any questions, just you can mail me here or personally ping me. Thank you.